to the video, everybody. The universe is holding the cosmic reset button this week. This is a beautiful week. This message comes from the deep. It's your host with the most, Mr. Mark David Meyer, with the fire, here to take the collective vibration higher. My sole intention is to reconcile all paradox with love and truth. I love you. Mars Day with Mark number 47, and this is the week of April 30th to May 7th. We're going Tuesday to Tuesday. We're going to talk about the week's astrology. This is your metaphysical weather forecast. Time to put it on blast. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Sit back and relax. This video has a few parts. So part number one, we're going to start with the degree breakdown. We're going to talk about the positions of the planets, and then we're going to move by step. We'll talk about the sun. We'll talk about our personal lives. We'll talk about the moon, the rhythm and the cycle and our feelings. We'll talk about Mercury, how we think, how the mental life and how communication and travel is working. We'll talk about Venus, how we love, how we relate, what we need. And then we'll talk about Mars, which is what we want, what we desire, and how we do things, how we act. We're going to talk about Jupiter, which is our philosophies and our quest for spirituality, our search for meaning. We'll talk about Saturn, which is our restrictions, our obligations, our fears even. And then we can talk about Uranus, our quest for liberation and change. We can talk about Neptune, our search for transcendence and escape even. And we could talk about Pluto, the evolutionary journey of our souls. We can talk about the nodes, where we're going, etc. And there's a couple interesting aspects this week. And you may have seen from the title of the video, we have the new moon in Taurus this week. And this is one of the bigger themes we want to talk about after we hit the degree breakdown and the planet check-in. And then we also have two other aspects I want to talk about. And the first one is Venus square Pluto. I should say the first one is Venus square Pluto. The second one is going to be Mercury conjunct Chiron. And then we also have Neptune hanging out in an interesting place. So I hope you guys can relate to what I'm saying. I hope this hits home. That's the full intention. So without further ado, let's jump into the degree breakdown. This is going to sound like a lot of numerology, and we'll add English to it later. Today, the sun is at 11 degrees of Taurus. So shout out to my Taurus sons who were born in the late April. Hope you guys are celebrating well. We have the moon today at 7 degrees of Aquarius. We've got Mercury at 17 degrees of Aries. Venus just moved into Taurus at 2 degrees. We've got Mars just moving into Aries, even later than Venus. So Mars is really fresh with this Aries energy. 0 degrees, just got into Aries. We've got Jupiter at 24 Taurus. We've got Saturn at 16 Pisces. Uranus at 22 Taurus. Neptune at 28 Pisces. Pluto at 2 degrees of Aquarius. And the North Node and the South Node are at 15 degrees of Libra, respectively. If you like to look at Lilith, she is at 23 degrees of Virgo, and that's beautiful. And then 1 week from now, May 7th, got a little movement. This is actually the chart of the new moon, which we're going to talk more about. But we've got the sun and the moon at 18 degrees of Taurus. We've got Mercury moving up to 21 Aries. We've got Venus moving to 10 Taurus. Mars moving to 5 Aries. Jupiter moving to 25 Taurus. Saturn moving to 17 Pisces. Uranus at 22 still. Neptune inching up to 29 degrees of Pisces. The anaretic final degree. Very serious, very important. This planet moves slow. So we're going to talk about it. We've got Pluto at 2 degrees of Aquarius. But what the fuck is that? It's a retrograde. Yeah. Pluto retrograde starts this week as well. So let's just take it one thing at a time, my friends. If you are a Taurus, show some love in the chat so we can show some love to you. You can throw your big 3 in the comments if you don't mind, just so we can all relate, know who's watching. And if you're heading to the comments anyway, here's an idea, a little prompt for you. What are your transits hitting like? Because we're about to jump in the sun. We're going to talk about the personal lives that we're living. So the only thing I can really ask you guys, besides engaging with this video, is leave a comment if you can. And If you're going through any transits, let us know, because everybody who gets to read your comment will get a deeper connection with astrology. I'm going to go first. I'm not going to comment, but I'm going to tell you really quick, and then we're going to jump into sun energy. Me personally, Pluto in Aquarius is squaring my natal Saturn at 3 degrees of Taurus. So there's a lot of interesting, deep changes I'm going through, and that's kind of vague. Sometimes I feel like I'm fighting with the world or fighting with myself. That's a little bit more detailed. And apart from that, I could make the whole video about myself. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Just give you one example. If you guys are going through cool transits, like the new moon is hitting your whatever, Pluto's aspecting your whatever, let us know. House ingresses or egresses, those are interesting as well. So what's going on with you? How are you guys doing? Because right now the sun is at 11 degrees of Taurus, like we talked about. But what that means specifically is new life. It's a good time. The sun is the energy we receive, and that's also going to show us how we live our lives, how we move our energy around, and how we fulfill ourselves. Life is such a meta word, it almost sounds redundant to talk about, but there's no coincidence. The Taurus sun energy talks about not the breath of life, but the bread of life, the substance, the source. Venus is home here, and we just talked about her making her way back to where she is, ruling over. That was a great sentence. Good job, Mark. And things are getting chill, man. In contrast to Aries season, which we left 11 days ago, slowing down, being steady, steadfast. Taurus energy. Taurus energy is security driven. It's value driven. And this is about living a good life. Value means the ability to discern what's good or bad for you. So indulge is what the sun tells us to do. Everything in moderation, but if we're not taking the time to enjoy our lives, something's really wrong. And speaking of transits, I could talk about this again. I mean, I got Saturn at 3 degrees of Taurus, so this Taurus energy affects me differently. And we all have different placements in Taurus or different Venus aspects, but my best advice, which I get from spirit, my own intellect, and life itself just says, enjoy life to the fullest, man. Your life is what you make it, so slow down and think about better ways of doing things. Is there a more direct, easier route? Ultimately, you choose how hard you want your life to be, and that's worth noting. No pain, no gain. You can't always stay in the comfort zone, or else there will be no growth. Resistance is required, but how hard do you want it to be? It's as hard as you make it. It's as beautiful and as easy as you let it be. The law of assumption, and I almost want to call it law of suggestion, because the question I'm about to ask you is, why is it so easy? Can we input this command? Can we tell our computer brain to hit search? Why is it so easy? Why is life so fun? Why is life so easy? We're living our life to the fullest. So we're about to hit this quarter moon. That's where we start this week. And then at the end of the week, like we were talking about, we're going to have this new moon, cosmic reset, new beginnings. And that's a beautiful thing, especially in the sign of Taurus with everything the earth has been going through. I will say, if you track this red line going to the left, looking at our sun, you'll see a square to the moon, pardon me. And you'll see even, I'm messing with my stats, y'all, pardon me. I'm turning off, what's his face? Psyche. We don't need that right now. There's a bunch of asteroids in here. So we talk about moderation, man. Lay off the roids sometimes. You may not need them all. All right, boom. So you see quarter moon energy. So we may be going through some changes. These may not be the most comfortable, but they are necessary for us to reach our full potential. Gain is change that requires sacrifice. So remember that. A lot going on in the Taurus constellation. So I'm curious, guys, let me know in the comments. Do you want me to make a full breakdown for May, since we are switching tomorrow? We could talk about all the ingresses, egresses, major events and stuff like that, lunations. Would you guys want to see a video on that? Because during the month of May, we will see in 11 days the sun cross over Uranus, and then not too long after that, the sun cross over Jupiter. So we are going to be seeing, in the midst of the Taurus season of stability and growth and slowing down, counterintuitively, a little bit of acceleration and change and even a stripping away of the old, which is going to speed things up. So, that being said, are you ready to grow? You ready to live a more fulfilled life? Because that's where we're going. So ultimately, guys, when we talk about the moon, just understand that with the moon waning this week, this is a cycle of release. Until we hit next Tuesday, that's when we plan. My ear just started ringing really, really loud. My ear is ringing like a bitch, dude. It was super crazy. Cycle of release this week. Next Tuesday, we start a new beginning. So if you guys are listening to this video, I'm so happy to have your attention, because this week is time to lock in, dial in, and stay focused on your manifestations. I'm not even kidding. Get ready now. Get ready now. Don't wait until next Tuesday to do your manifestation. Start manifesting now. Start putting your intentions on what you want. Draw in your desires. Do your magic now. I'm telling you. On the quarter moon, this is way more powerful. You'll already have the seed planted by the time the universe is taking seeds in, basically. We're talking leverage. Leveraging the cycle for our benefit. Planting seeds and watering them ahead of time. Letting your seeds germinate and sprout before you put them in the dirt, basically, is what I'm talking about. So when you set your sights and goals on something, just be ready to release. Be ready to let go of anything that's oppositional or presenting itself as a blockage, whether that is a person, a place, or a thing, a thought form, a belief, or an identity. Let yourself grow. Give yourself permission to change. And then you're going to see the best week of your life. I promise you. I promise you. Check it out. And where we start right now with the beginning of this Moon-Pluto cycle, I want to dive into this very briefly before we move forward. This is really about connecting with the power of our soul. That's a Moon-Pluto energy. But deeper than this, Aquarius represents the collective, the community, and our individuated self, who we are beyond the limitations and illusions of society. Do you understand what I'm saying? Aquarius emojis in the comments would be appreciated if y'all know what I mean. So this is saying get connected. Moon-Pluto energy, Aquarius specifically, get connected with the world. You may have to disconnect to reconnect to find yourself. You may need some alone time, but don't be so hermit in reverse that you never come back to the village. You get me? No inverted hermit energy, man. We got to be upright. The whole point of isolation is to change and grow and then share with the greater good. So Pluto retrograde is going to start this week on Friday. And Pluto retrograde happens every year, guys, so don't fear. Pluto is so far from the sun. Pluto is going to go retrograde every single year without fail. And it's going to be retrograde for about half the year, roughly. So we actually have Pluto retrograde until mid-October. So Pluto is the great revealer, and it's going to be revealing. So the best way I could explain this Pluto retrograde from late April, beginning of May to mid-October, this is going to be about deception being cleared from our life for the ones that are doing the introspection work. Because this operates almost like a polarity, which is so crazy, and I mean half the year almost. The crazy thing is that we're almost always being influenced by the shadow. I mean, truly, we are always being influenced, but the point is that collectively, everybody's going to be in this same boat, and that makes the spectrums of possibilities so wide. Depending on how you work with Pluto's energy is going to show you how it interacts with you when the retrograde happens, because the best way to explain a retrograde is to just flip the switch, flip the light on and off, and you go from attraction to repulsion. You're going forward or backward. It's giving masculine or feminine, essentially. So sometimes the words are limiting, but the idea should remain the same. You should see the principle. So whatever you're working on with your power is going to recenter or flip, or you may see the forces externally flip a little bit. Doesn't mean everything in the world is going to fall to shit, because this happens every year on an unconscious level, guys. But I'm telling you, the unconscious will stir and recenter. And that's generally a good thing. It's not a bad thing, and it's not a good thing. I try to be optimistic, but you got to understand about retrogrades that happen every year. None of these celestial events, even the lunations or the aspects, are good or bad. They just reflect higher cycles of order and meaning, and you just have to be able to work with it to the best of your ability. So the spotlight or the microscope or the black light, that's what we're checking out right now, making sure it works. I like to film these in my third house, dude. There's a spider saying hi to you. Hi, spider. Spiders are the animal of patterns. So working with the spider's energy can also be really good to understand your unconscious and understand what you come from and what are you building in the larger scheme of things, okay? Spiders are really great for wealth and prosperity, passive income too. So if Pluto calls you to gain more power and richness and control and wealth, that's going to be great that you call upon the spider. And also that you do your damn shadow work, man. This is another conversation that encircles this topic. Do your shadow work. Confront your unconscious, because if you don't understand it, it will influence your life without your will. And you will just perceive it like fate or circumstance or higher powers or whatever just influencing you. But it's really you influencing yourself. Abdicating your responsibility to God. And God doesn't like that shit, man. I'm not trying to be a dick. And God doesn't really care. God will judge you based on the judgments you give yourself, man. But if you really think about it, if you abdicate your responsibility to a higher power, you don't get power in return. Think about it. With great power comes great responsibility, man. So it's like some people don't realize this. So take a breath, man. This might sting for some, man. You already have everything you want. Talking for those yearning and burning for more, man. You're either in pursuit and you're doing what's required, or you just stay in cycles of failure because you don't really want it. I'm not even trying to be mean or hurt people's feelings, but it's just about the unconscious desires need to be parallel the conscious desires, because if they're not, cognitive dissonance plays out and then you will self-sabotage. That's what I mean. Everybody's a success in my book, truly, because everybody gets what they want, right? So it's just about consistency with thought, speech, and action, man. And also understand your beliefs and your assumptions, because they do matter and you do create them. This is a deep conversation for Pluto retrograde, but I hope you guys take this in fully, because on Friday, we're going to switch gears, man. And it feels like the ferryman is about to start paddling with the other hand. So take that for what it's worth. This was kind of deep, man. I didn't mean to go. I said only a little bit, but then I got really deep into Pluto, for fuck's sake. So now that we're above the water, now that we got out of the pool, we got lost in the deep end for a little bit, but I think everybody found what they needed in there. Let's talk about the other planets, okay? Mercury's in Aries right now, and I guess this saves us time having to talk about Pluto and Aquarius in the long run. It helps us go full circle. So Mercury, first planet right after the moon. This is how we think, etc. Mercury, it has got a directness right now. It's got some passion. It's got some aggression. So you may want to take full advantage of this energy and write your ideas down, but also embrace the impulsiveness that comes from life, the desire just to experience. Sometimes you just got to get out and have fun and just do your own thing and worry about it later. Ask questions never. And that's not really my message. I do want people to ask questions, but this energy is, on the contrary, about just instantaneous action and thought and embracing your desires. So Aries is the self. There's a lot of self-reflection going on with Aries Mercury, and programming the self, thinking about the self, selfishness, making your own life fulfilling and fruitful. Working on communication may be a prime focus for some people during this transit. Mental health is a really big thing. And the Mercury aspect that I want to talk about, we'll talk about it now because it is relevant, is we've got Mercury conjunct Chiron. And we had that long Mercury retrograde not too long ago, about a week ago, which Mercury goes retrograde about 3 to 4 times a year for about 3 to 4 weeks every time it does. So Mercury was going up and down the Aries constellation. It passed over Chiron a little bit. So I just want to reiterate, understanding yourself on a deeper level, gaining more self-awareness, brings the ability to be accountable, responsible for oneself, and that brings about healing. And that's what this conversation is about, Mercury conjunct Chiron. And that's going to be exact on Sunday. You'll see it at 20 degrees, Mercury and Chiron joining together. Very beautiful thing. So that's coming into union with your mind, realizing that you are whole, reconnecting to your spiritual parameters and perceptions. Oh yeah, Sundays are great days for self-reflection. So focus on yourself on Sunday. That's my best advice. Let's talk about Venus. Mama's home. Mama loves where she is. But this is the other thing I want to talk about. Venus loves to go to Taurus because the planet of love is in the sign of good things and having our needs met and indulging. So what's the issue? There's no issue. This is actually how nature is supposed to be. If you really think about it, Venus and Taurus is why people in every being in the world, even, I should say every being with a nervous system, but I think even trees for real would qualify. The beings that are wired to pursue pleasure and avoid pain. This is an innate Venus-Taurus phenomenon, truly. The fact that the things that feel good, the things that are sensual and fulfilling, these are what sustain our life. And if you really think about these correspondences deeper, you only like things that are valuable to you, or the things that are valuable to you have to provide for you in some way when that comes to a base need or a pleasure or a sensation. So Venus is home in Taurus, and this is saying that nourishing ourselves is really going to be the focus, in addition to all the energy we have in Aries and the sun being in Taurus. How much can we grow when we really take care of our own needs? This is the question. Venus did make a rough landing into Taurus, and I'm going to talk about this, man. We're basically experiencing this already, so by the time you watch this video or later on in the week, you'll see the squares start to lessen up. But look at the big red square between Venus and Pluto, 90 degrees apart. This says that love is changing, love is evolving, and our connection to ourself has to as well. This is going to say that there's a hunger, there's a need for more food, there's a need for more digestion, more energy, more love. So essentially, life is forcing all of us to confront our wounds, how we hurt, how our heart has been maimed or injured in the name of love, how power and love have gotten confused, where trust has been complicated because of the abdication of one's needs, projecting on other people, basically. We all know what I'm talking about. We've all been here, man. So Pluto this week, Venus this week, is all about how deep is your love? Genuinely, how deep is it? And how do you prove it? This is a complicated conversation, but I'm going to use astrology to simplify this to the best of my ability, guys. You just got to keep in mind the energies. Taurus and Aquarius. How can we be self-sustaining and connected at the same time? The answer is simple, guys. By taking care of your own needs. Providing for yourself enough to actually connect through integrity and rely on others for your true needs. Not your fake needs. Not your projections and your fears. Because Venus, Pluto is some dark shit, guys. I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys. Venus, Pluto is the darkest shit you can ever see or experience in this world, because that's people who claim to love or care or want empathy or closeness with people end up starting to hurt each other. Or it might not even be that gentle or harmless. It may be people who, in their actual mind, just want to use people as objects. People who don't love themselves or don't have empathy. Venus Pluto is psychotic, man. And there's a lot of fear when it comes to relating. So the trust issues are natural, because if you understand what people are capable of, why would you really open up and trust just any random person? You wouldn't. So ultimately, it's your faith in life and your understanding of yourself, your self-reliance, and your vision that helps you really bring depth into life with people. Whether that vision is religious in nature, or it's, secular, or it's based on your passions or pursuits in your personal life, or if it's just influenced by society, or if it's just totally non-sequential to anything else in life. You could just build your own vision and thrive in that world, truly. But you just got to make sure that you're willing to connect with other people. And realize this, guys, bottom line, because I feel like my cloud got kind of big. Let's bring it to earth. Bottom line is this, guys. You can't possess other people. You can't control other people. This is the thing. Love has to be free. Love is about trust. Love is not about control. Love is not about fear. So this cycle right now, as we do this quarter moon releasing, because I know a lot of people listening to me, and just in the world in general, what they're manifesting, some of them are going to manifest it, I don't want to say too late, but they're not going to have that quarter moon leverage because they're not watching this channel and shit. But a lot of people are manifesting love. They might be manifesting money, maybe just more peace, trying to have things, or just qualities of being. Taurus energy. So Pluto, though, for something to be gained, something's got to be given. This is a strong conversation, man, for the strong only. So what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you going to put in to grow? It's not about faith and wishing. It's about what are you going to do? So deciding what you want, setting after it, and then the resistance and obstacles will come up automatically. I promise you guys. So whether that is fear, lack of trust, or it's trauma, or it's your traditional ideas, or whatever BS we be telling ourselves, it's going to come up and it's going to be needing to be eliminated. So just be ready to restore yourself after you destroy the old identity and old paradigms, old ways of doing things, guys. You're going to know you're growing when you go in the same circumstance and have a different outcome and different behavior. And you're going to be able to take pride on that, okay? Mars is in Aries, and Mars is the lower Pluto, very important. And Mars just went back home. So the goddess and God are reuniting with their true natures. And our masculine direct energy is just moving forward as it should. So this is a breath of fresh air, but a burst of new life, more specifically. And you're going to see the Mars in Aries energy really lighting a fire under your ass and getting you in a space of wanting to take action. This feels like Carnelian energy. It's really hot. It's steamy. It's focused on growth. It's instinctive. It's passionate, and it's raw. And some of y'all are reading between the lines. The interest in sex can't be understated with this one. When this energy plays out for the next, how many weeks? Like 3 to 4? Hold on. Let's count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 6 weeks of Mars in Aries, man. So it's springtime. Motherfuckers be in heat. But apart from that, this is going to say that you really got to take and be about that action. What are you doing to move your life forward? Sometimes the new Mars cycle, Mars and Aries energy, is about really just reapproaching things in a completely different way. So give yourself permission to go on new beginnings, or just take different approaches to your current life. Variety can be the spice of life. And you'll see as Mars transits that sign, Mars will cross over the North Node. Mars will cross over Chiron and Aries. So, while this is about a new, refreshing energy that's passionate, fun, and sexy, it's also going to get quite serious. Let's be real, guys. North Node, that's going to be about devoting to your actual purpose and growth and saying, fuck all the bullshit that I engage with for distraction purposes or self-justifying or avoiding purposes. I have to say no to all that fucking shit. That's coming first. And then second, it's going to be the deep healing that we either neglect or struggle with. We're going to have to really confront that and become the healer. And then when it comes to Eris, we're going to have to become the fucking fighter. You understand? So we're lucky it goes in this order. And we're lucky we can watch this before it happens, man. But it's about get yourself right, heal, so we can lead. Period. All right? So Mars in Aries says, what the hell are you doing with your choices and energy? Sometimes it doesn't have to be that deep, and you can just do what you feel. But don't just do what you feel, man. Mars exalts in Capricorn. So while it might be new energy, use this with discipline. Discipline is the obligation to Earth. And if you don't know that, you go nowhere. right? Right. So Jupiter in Taurus says big blessings are coming. The Jupiter-Uranus cycle just started too, though. So, like, patience is what life is calling us to have, man. Things can change overnight if you really are about that action, but if you want to have long-term success and a legacy, maybe you need to drop the idea of it coming overnight, because that's just kind of counterintuitive. Give yourself permission to enjoy the process and realize it over time. So Jupiter in Taurus asks us to have faith in the material, have faith in the earth. And if we're not actually in understanding of our needs, we won't be embracing and fulfilling our needs. And that's going to lead us to neglect and lack. And that's going to reflect in our energy and our paradigms. And, you know, we may abdicate this responsibility to other people again. Like, people just aren't treating me right, or I just wish I had the money, or I just wish I had the time, or a misunderstanding of our own values and resources, again, makes us project and abdicate that bullshit, that Pluto. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's remember that you innately, Jupiter Taurus is telling you, you innately have everything you need, whether you see it or not. That's your quest, is finding that, embracing that journey, and realizing you can provide with your resourcefulness. And beyond you can, hear me out, guys, it's you do. I'm not saying that, oh, some of that stuff comes as a result of a metaphysical thing. No, I'm telling you, the metaphysical thing is how you got everything. Don't get rocked to sleep into thinking that this material world, Taurus, brings you anything, because it doesn't. Who are you? I know you're getting this message because I'm turning up a little bit, but dude, you are not the physical. Bottom line. Optical illusions are elite, so just rise above sometimes. That's what it's saying, is you got to be grounded to rise above, though. People don't realize yet descension is ascension if you live on Earth. They want to ascend, they want to raise their vibration, but how the fuck are you going to do that if you're not present in your body? AKA, you're not grounded. So many people in this world have blockages in their root chakra, and because they're unconscious of their body, they don't even know. And that's the most sad thing, bro. That's why people legitimately shut down and become robots. So try not to judge these people so hard when you run into them, okay? Because some people literally don't know that they're on Earth, even though all they appear to look at is the Earth shit. They're just failing miserably because they haven't unlocked the higher levels of their being. Kind of stuck on a low order of things, man. Some of us forget that we might have like come from Neanderthals or monkeys, or like, it's who the hell are humans, dude? So we got to be better, and we got to try our best to stretch to our full potential. And that's the only way we're going to grow as a species collectively, intellectually, physically, etc. So Saturn is an interesting conversation, and it's 11:11 as I film this, guys. I need you to know that you will manifest everything, truly everything you desire, truly, in your lifetime. Know that. Say, I will. And you're going to enjoy and live your life to the fullest. I promise you. Why? Because you know, you have the burning soul of conviction set on that. So the universe corresponds to that. Sometimes you don't have the words to ask, but the universe sees the conduct of your soul, the way your heart beats. So just understand that and have some faith, because what the universe may be afraid of right now, / lacking, aka Saturn, is support, faith and meaning, Pisces energy, benevolence. Like, where has the good gone? What have they done to us? What is this world? This is the question burning in a lot of people's hearts. Are we alone here? Is life even good? Is it worth continuing? This shit sucks. This shit sucks. You guys ever seen Beavis and Butthead? It's kind of an inside joke. This shit sucks. A bunch of dumbass wussies hanging around banging a stupid drum. If you know, you know, dude. Somebody, I need to try to find that. It's in my laugh playlist. I should link that. If you guys see a pinned comment, watch it. If it has a link, watch that shit. All right. But Saturn and Pisces, let's reel it back in, man. That fish got away from us. So what is the responsibilities that we have? That's a harder question to ask, but I'm telling you guys, just to have faith, just to be optimistic, and again, be about that action. Saturn Pisces says, as hard as it is to be in a world full of suffering people, you have to put yourself first in order to help them. And that's the key. 2, service. It's not martyrdom. Even though that's a cool energy to be willing to sacrifice yourself for the higher meaning, for your beliefs, I really encourage people to avoid martyrdom, because martyrdom ends up becoming, savior dumb, or savior. Try to save, and then you become the martyr, and then you become the victim of martyring yourself. And even if that's not the role you chose, if you end up in that role, you always kind of feel like, man, there's probably a more empowering way to approach what I did. So we can save ourselves that whole experience just by never risking things that we can't afford to lose. So I think the most beautiful thing about Saturn Pisces is about really adding structure and depth and density to your spiritual life, in bringing down the spiritual practices into the physical. And I really encourage everybody, because I feel this shit, and I'm going to talk about this more and more as the years go on of Saturn Pisces, guys. But like, the problem with a lot of us is that we don't question our beliefs. We may question our beliefs, but we only question the ones that we don't really need to question the most. We don't question the ones that we really ought to be questioning. So more specifically, because you can probably think about that and integrate some knowledge there in your own life, but more specifically, your spiritual practices, like the way that you invest energy in life, the things you sacrifice towards. And some people do not have a spiritual practice. And let's get into this really quick. A lot of people don't have a spiritual practice, and they find their higher meaning through, charity and giving. And some people that don't know how to give too well, or maybe haven't found ways that really appeal to their soul, doesn't feel like the right thing for them to give. Some of these people don't really feel like there is higher meaning. They can feel lost and hopeless, and kind of like they're lacking something really important in their life as well. So that's Pisces energy. And Saturn asks us to put the work in. Saturn asks us to be disciplined and to do things with our time, to walk a path of integrity and to pursue self-mastery. Saturn in the sign of Pisces is really asking us, truly, beyond our beliefs, our convictions and assumptions, what are the results of our spiritual practice? And I'm going to just go there right now, because I feel the Pluto energy, guys. You saw Lilith on the midheaven when I started this shit. She's still there. She's about to bust some skulls, man, and really open some hearts at the same time. It's like, I'm talking about the spiritual practice of the one who's doing return to sender or protection candles every day. Every fucking day. And you end up spending $200, $300, $400 on protection candles. Are you protected enough? Like, damn. Or you might just be like, and we see religious people doing this too, not just witches, but praying every day, like an inexorbitant amount of prayers in order to receive breadcrumbs. Are you really putting your energy spiritually where it's supposed to go? That's the question, is saying, like, are your prayers heard? Are they answered? Because if they're not, stop fucking praying to that God or goddess or that spirit, and redirect your prayers to your higher self. Redirect your prayers to somebody that can fucking hear you, aka yourself, or a guide that you know and trust. Some of y'all don't know Jehovah. Have you talked to him? Etc. It's like, this is the conversation we're having. It's like, is your spirituality really helping you? And it's okay to question this and also not know the answer and feel upset about that too. So I want to hold space for the people in that space as well, because spirituality is not a one-size-fits-all thing, guys. So that's the challenge of Saturn and Pisces on one dimension as well, where there can be this assumption that in order to operate spiritually within a society, we all have to have the same belief, and that's not true whatsoever. So a lot of people getting confused with Neptune up in this bitch, man. And I don't want to say too much about these outer planets, because we could talk about this all day, and these reflect long multi-generational cycles of meaning and order. We've already talked about Pluto through the moon aspect. We've talked about Uranus through the Jupiter aspect, and we've talked about Neptune through the Saturn aspect, guys. This is some deep shit, guys. And cycles are converging and ending at the same time and beginning anew, basically. So this is one of the weirdest times to live in Earth, in summary, and you're doing quite well. staying optimistic, grounded, and relaxed through the transition. My best advice for you guys is a couple things. One is sleep as much as you need. Drink a lot of water. Ground yourself on the earth. Get yourself some rose quartz for your heart. Keep it on your heart, like in the center of your chest. Let that cool, relaxing stone open and relax your heart to more love, help you receive things. And then if you're not allergic, get lavender chamomile tea. And you can add other herbs or get different blends, but at least get the lavender. I recommend both, lavender, chamomile. But the cool thing is that's the moon's energy. The moon is mooning like crazy this week, y'all. So I really recommend you get hip with the lavender energy. Just in general in this life, that's going to help you keep the heart open and receive. Let's talk about the new moon just a little bit, guys. This is the new beginning in this cycle of Taurus. And that's just going to say that this life can ultimately get as good as you want because we're planting seeds to indulge in. It's like this is the tray of cookies that you get to eat. You understand? We're baking and cooking a lot, but this is the one that you get. So be specific and pay very close attention to how you're baking and how you're cooking and make yours the best. I know you're cooking a lot for other people, but really take extra time and care for your batch. That's what I'm saying, because this week is preparation for our new beginning, for the manifestations. And today, the day that you listen to this video, guys, you take action. You set in motion the seeds of change in your life so you can enjoy the sweet fruits that you desire. What do you like? Is it pineapple? Is it mango? Is it strawberry? Is it blueberry? Is it frog flavored? Is it trash can flavored? Is it rock flavored? Some of you guys got the inside joke. I'm going to tell you really quick for those who want to know. Earlier today, I was on live in the park, and I was sitting by this frog in the park that kids can play on. And I was doing mantra, and then this kid came by and started shouting out names of fruits. And it was really funny. It was amazing. And then it got way off topic, and they started like making up ice cream flavors like banana ice cream or trash can flavored ice cream or leaf ice cream or pizza flavored ice cream and stuff. And shout out to that kid for brightening my day and everybody else's day. If you saw that, let everybody know, because that was so funny. Moon energy. Back to this, guys. We'll talk more about this, especially on next Tuesday, because we're going to be starting in this energy, of course. But just understand, guys, good things are coming. We're going to keep it kind of brief today because I know this has already been such a deep video. I could talk endlessly about this. So just get ready to receive the blessings. And remember, once again, guys, life is literally as hard as you make it. It's as beautiful as you let it be. The most important things I want to really prelude to is that the moon, the new moon, is going to be conjunct Uranus in Taurus. And if you want to stretch the orb, you could even call it conjunct Jupiter. And that just says it's a very blessed and high vibrational new moon. So you may kind of feel like a static in the air, like it's a wind or thunderstorm and something chaotic is happening, but still use this energy to your benefit. Become the lightning rod, ground yourself so you can hold the high vibrational energies of spirit. The moon is trine Lilith as well, so this is about indulging in your deepest, darkest fantasies and really being nourished. There's a grand earth trine. Really being full, really being fulfilled. It's a beautiful thing. And I want to say this is a little deeper thing, but I'm seeing it move in. This green line right here, that's Lilith in conjunct Eris. And this will tighten up as the days go by. We'll talk about this more, of course, but you got to understand how your aggression plays out and how you want to fight, because everybody wants to fight for some reason. And some people deny this, they suppress this, and then they just explode later on themselves and other people. And then they feel like it's not their fault. But you just got to know what you're fighting for, man. Get excited. And if you're not getting the message, get your ass in the gym, jabroni. Hope you guys liked Venus. This is not Venus Day. Every day is Venus Day when you got love in your heart. Mars Day with Mark, 47. Oh, yes. It's a blessed day. It's good to hear from your blessed face. Have a beautiful night. Enjoy yourself. Make sure you smile. I'll see you guys soon. Blessed be.